Artists, creatives, and designers, welcome to Dream Aloud Art, the podcast where creatives are educated on seeing value in themselves and their creations. Presented to you by RTA, respecttheartist.com. I'm your host, fellow creative and friend, Electra B. Frederick. Let's go. Artists, what am I going to do with y'all? What am I going to do with y'all? Come on now. So you want to know how you can become an artist. Okay. I know. It's a mind-bending moment for some of you because you're wondering, why would I make an episode about becoming an artist if you have already gotten to this episode? You have arrived here and you are pretty sure that you're already an artist. So what is this about? Well, that's a good question because I have had the same question when it comes to artists who have reached out to me. I have had artists reach out to me on Instagram. That's where I've connected with thousands of artists over the years. And the question that they ask me is, how do I become an artist? How do I know I'm an artist? What do I have to do to be an artist? And this is not a joke. This is a real thing. This is a real question. And I'm going to have more episodes on questions that artists have asked me and the guidance that I have provided for them, or suggestions, or, I don't know about the whole, tips and tricks. I don't know about that verbiage because a tip feels very temporary to me. It feels like a quick patch. Maybe that's me. Maybe it's just me and my relationship with verbiage. And then a trick is a trick. We're not trying to trick ourselves or anyone else. So there's that. But yes, I have provided some light instruction or suggestions for the questions that they have posed. And I will definitely have more episodes on that. So let's get to the heart of things, right? Let's really dive in here and get some perspective on this question. How do I know I'm an artist? How do I become an artist? So I'm going to share a passage with you. And the link, of course, is in the description if you want to find out more about this book that I'm sharing with you. I'm going to share this awesome passage, okay? So in this book, and this is, oh my gosh, this is such an incredible book. This is my go-to when I want to initiate topics of discussion among me and I have an artist coaching program on Instagram. You may want to check that out. It's an awesome program. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. It's an amazing program. If you have questions about it, DM me on Instagram and I'll give you more information on that. But I go to this book and I refer to it when I want to begin engaging topics and open up the floor for the artists in my coaching program, because that's what we do. We have group discussions every week. And I absolutely love it. Shout out to Instagram. Big shout out to Instagram for that, because it allows us to have a forum, have a talk, have a group consultation without leaving Instagram. And once again, that's where most of the artists that I've connected with, that's where we found each other. Boom, Instagram, right? So yeah. Shout out to Instagram for that. So let me continue and read this passage in this amazing book. And once again, if you want to learn more about the book, check out the description, click the link, and you will definitely learn about that. And your girl over here, I was talking about tips earlier, I'll be able to get a tip as utilizing the affiliate link, okay? So let's go. Here's the passage. Under a particular passage in the book, it's stated, a few assumptions Art making involves skills that can be learned. The conventional wisdom here is that while craft can be taught, art remains a magical gift bestowed only by the gods. Not so. In large measure, becoming an artist consists of learning to accept yourself. What? Which makes your work personal. Come on now. And in following your own voice, which makes your work distinctive. Clearly, these qualities can be nurtured by others. Even talent is rarely distinguishable over the long run from perseverance and lots of hard work. It's true that every few years the authors encounter some beginning photography student whose first semester prints appear as finely crafted as any Ansel Adams might have made. And it's true that a natural gift like that, especially at the fragile early learning stage, returns priceless encouragement to its maker. But all of that has nothing to do with an artistic content. Rather, it simply points up the fact that most of us, including Adams himself, had to work years to perfect our art. Art is made by ordinary people, creatures' only virtues. Rewind, let me say that again. Creatures having only virtues can hardly be imagined making art. It's difficult to picture the Virgin Mary painting landscapes or Batman throwing pots. The flawless creature wouldn't need to make art. And so ironically, the ideal artist is scarcely a theoretical figure at all. If art is made by ordinary people, then you'd have to allow that the ideal artist would be an ordinary person too, with the whole usual mixed bag of traits that real human beings possess. This is a giant hint about art because it suggests that our flaws and weaknesses, while often obstacles to our getting work done, are a source of strength as well. Something about making art has to do with overcoming things, giving us a clear opportunity for doing things in ways we have always known we should do them. Making art and viewing art are different at their core. So I'm going to pause right there. Listen. Did you catch it? Did you catch what the author was throwing? This book is so bomb. I'm telling you, it is bomb. I'm going to rewind on a couple of points that a couple of authors collaborated on this book. Art making, here's what was stated. This is what I started off talking about. Art making involves skills that can be learned. Okay, that was one point. The next point. Art is made by ordinary people. And what the authors have highlighted here is that if we didn't need to improve, or if we didn't need room for growth, then what would be the point of doing art? If we didn't need a different perspective, what would be the point of doing art? I will rewind to what they had just mentioned, okay? It's difficult, here we go, quote, "It's difficult to picture the Virgin Mary painting landscapes or Batman throwing pots. The flawless creature wouldn't need to make art." Did you hear that? The flawless creature wouldn't need to make art. But since all of us are flawed, let me sip some water. I needed to take a sip right there. Come on. But since we are flawed naturally, like it's a part of us, right? Because we're not perfect. And please don't use that as an excuse to not improve yourself and not work on yourself, because that's a whole nother episode. But since we are flawed, that's why we need art. That's why we need to create. We have a need to create, to make, to grow, to develop, to progress. Come on, somebody. Again, the link is in the descriptions, girl. Girl. Wow, I said girl. That just flowed. Like, I guess, it's like me talking to one of my friends having this conversation. The link is in the description, girl. Make sure you click it. Anyway, so how does this connect to the ultimate topic today about how exactly do I become an artist? It connects because it's natural in you. You first and foremost, you're already an artist. If you are listening to this podcast, you're an artist. Don't get me started, y'all. I had a video that got so many hits and so many views on Instagram, okay? Because I was reminding artists that you are not compartmentally an artist. And I kept echoing and stating the same thing I'm sharing with you. You know, in the morning, you're an artist. In the evening, you're an artist. At work, you're an artist. While you're on your lunch break, you're an artist. I got news for you. You're an artist all day, every day. So how exactly do you become? Let's get to the heart of this, right? How exactly do you become an artist? You become an artist by owning it. You have to own that you are a creative. You have to own it. And you have to own it so much that it is like your first name. Your first name or your nickname, you know, I know y'all get real colorful, pun intended, as an artist. Y'all get super colorful. Y'all got like 8 names you got your IG name, you got your Facebook name, you got your oh my goodness. Again, that's a whole nother episode. Anyway, you own it like it is your name. And you dare anyone to challenge that you are not an artist. See, what happens with artists is that they're challenged by either themselves, because they like to, and I'm not saying solely artists go through this, it's people, right? But they'll play the game in their mind that they're an artist sometimes and not all the time. When the truth is that you're an artist all day, every day. So there's no need to deny who you are. But if somebody challenges you, let's say that you work at an electronics store, okay? And your coworkers know that you're into art and you do a little shimmy, you do a little some, right? You draw a little bit. Maybe they saw a post of yours because one of them is your friend or follows you on social media or whatever the case is, right? But they know that you're an artist. But when you're at work, you're told you are here at work now at this electronics store. This is where you work. Put the art to the side. Okay, here's what you do. You don't actually physically engage in perhaps your style of art, but what you do is you keep the creative cap on all day, every day, and you find ways that you can creatively whip it out. I think that's all I'm trying to say. You find ways that you can implement your creativity in your current position. You know why? Because that comes most naturally to you. I'm not saying find a way to start painting at work. If it fits in the equation, and this is what I've done as a manager when I was working in grocery retail, I intentionally sought out artists at the stores that I managed. I would have a meeting, I would put the memo out, I would send an email out, and I would request for artists that were in the store to come see me because I wanted them to work on a project. So we had photographers. I had a photographer in the meat department. I had a couple of painters in the grocery department. You see, so that's different. If there's a situation like that, and you know what, I will even encourage you, artist, to propose that. I would encourage you to propose something to your supervisor or your manager or anyone who's in a managerial position. I would encourage you to make it a discussion. You would be surprised how many managers would actually support that. But that's not what I was talking about at first. I'm going to rewind. There are many ways for you to exercise your creativity, period. right? It doesn't even have to be photography. It doesn't have to be painting. It doesn't have to be anything like that. And I can think of several examples even for myself when I was working in a store, okay? I was working in the produce department. I found ways to be creative while stocking the fruits and vegetables. So I would get creative by setting the food out, and I'll just use avocados as an example. I would set the avocados out so it looked very picturesque. Okay, so the colors, the ones that were a brighter green were toward the front, and it kind of faded towards the back, where, say, a different hue of green avocados were behind them. And it looked immaculate. It looked so good, and I'll pat myself on the back for that, that my manager actually made it a discussion. She noticed that. She also noticed that I did the same thing with the mangoes. I laid out a line of yellowish ones, then the ones that looked yellow reddish, and then the ones that looked more red were towards, the front, the center, however it was displayed. But it was mentioned, it was highlighted, it was a discussion. All because I decided to lean into the fact that I love expression, and I love to get creative at any moment that I can possibly get creative, okay? Because that was when I was going to college as an art student. So again, these are just different points of view about taking ownership. That is how you become an artist. If you keep leaning toward doubt, you'll never be one, because you've never owned up to it. You've never put the cap on. You've never just said, I'm an artist. When have you, let me ask you this question, and you can answer in your head, of course, right? Or you can, of course, send me a message, or I have links, of course, in the description if you'd like to connect with me on Instagram or anything like that. I would ask you this question. Have you ever introduced yourself as an artist? Have you ever introduced yourself as an artist? Now, in my book, The Confident Artist, 6 Principles to Unleash Your Creative Potential, which is also on Amazon. But anyway, please look it up, check it out, okay? Along with the book that I mentioned today, because that's an amazing book. Again, link is in the description so your girl can get a tip. But anyway, I've experienced that before, and I wrote about it in my book, okay? That is a prime example of taking ownership for who you are, and that is introducing yourself as an artist. Just like you would introduce yourself by introducing yourself by your name, okay? Like, hi, how are you? Who are you, right? Who are you? This is a prime opportunity for you to lead with confidence and say, I'm an artist. Or excuse me, let me rewind. I'll just practice. Let's practice right now. You can say it out loud. You can vocalize it. Matter of fact, there's power when you vocalize it. There's power in your tone, in your fluctuation, in your voice. There's power there. There's energy there. And that's expression. And I encourage you to use it. So let's practice, right? So we're going to practice by you just simply introducing yourself to me. Say, hi, Electra. I'm so-and-so, right? Hi, Electra. I'm so-and-so. Of course, you would put your name there. Hi, Electra. I'm fill in the blank. And I'm an artist. It feels weird for some artists because they don't verbalize it. They just keep it all in their head, right? They'll keep it all in their head, and then they'll do it on Instagram, or they'll post it on Facebook, or they'll post it in virtual land or on their website, right? But they have yet to vocalize that. They have yet to actually say it. Again, y'all, it's a different energy when you own up to it and you say it and you use your voice. That's energy. And there's so much power in using your voice. I always encourage artists to speak about their art. And that could be another episode. I've given courses on that, how to speak about your art, how to talk about it. So something as simple as introducing yourself holds so much power. I would encourage you to try that. Try it with a stranger, someone who doesn't know you at all, okay? Like, who doesn't know you at all, because you won't get any challenge. You won't get a challenge from an artist, or excuse me, from you won't get challenged by someone that you don't know. If you try it with someone who has perhaps known you for years and you've never spoken in that way before, you might be a little bit challenged. They might say, "Oh, well, excuse me, now you're introducing yourself as an artist, or now But if it is someone that you're communicating with who is, loving, respectful of you, then of course that wouldn't be a problem to introduce yourself or to practice with them and say, "Hey, I'm just going to start saying it with my chest," right? So I encourage you to practice. Hey, you could practice in the mirror. I'm so and so, and I'm an artist. That's as simple as it. That's as simple as it has to be. My name's so and so, and I'm an artist. My name's Electra. I'm an artist. Hi, how you doing? My name's Electra. I'm an artist. And you know what? It may feel a little weird for some of you to begin, but once you start getting in flow with that, you will notice that people respond differently because you are an artist. And it's so rare to some people, or for some people, to even hear someone just say that they're an artist, unless you're in the artist world, like unless you're at a gallery and there's a bunch of other artists there. Well, it doesn't, it's like, oh, okay, that's great. That's wonderful. But if you're in a setting where there aren't that many people who typically may be involved in art, like say a more corporate setting, and you introduce yourself to someone and say, "Yeah, I'm so-and-so, I'm an artist." And then it's like a whole discussion. Like they're going to start talking about, "Well, I can't draw." I know, y'all. I know. I get in my feels sometimes. I'm just like, does everybody think just being an artist means drawing? Yes, a significant amount of people think that way, which is all good. It's all love. But anyway, it will start a conversation that perhaps you in your head have been intimidated to even have, because you're like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know if I want to say that because people are going to think whatever they're going to think about artists." And nah, it's not no, it's nah. Okay, it's NAH. Nah, we ain't going to do all that, right? So how do you become an artist, or how do you know that you're an artist? You claim it, you own it. If you're even wondering if you're an artist, chances are you already are. Welcome. And it's wonderful to have you here. Okay. So I hope that this episode has been super helpful for y'all. I encourage you to check out the link in the description so you can check out this book, cop the book. It's an amazing book. These two gentlemen have done such a fantastic job of putting together passages that are super powerful. And again, y'all, this is my go-to. Let's go over those points before we exit out of here. So the first main point that I was sharing is that out of the book, art making involves skills that can be learned. Come on now. It's not like you have to don't even get me started. Okay, I was about to start talking about education, formal education as a creative, and whether you need that or whether you don't. But anyway, a whole nother discussion. And the next point that was made that I shared with you earlier: art is made by ordinary people. Art is made by ordinary people, y'all. Ordinary people who took ownership of who they are and they leveled it up. And that's what you must do. Take ownership of who you are. You're an ordinary person, but you're also extraordinary in your own right. Right? Okay. And next, making art and viewing art are different at their core. And that could be another discussion. I could have another podcast to extend further into that topic. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all already know who it is and you already know what it is. So RTA stands for Respect the Artist. I just got to verbalize it. I know I'm going to have my outro and you're going to hear the outro in a minute, but y'all know I say it with my chest, right? I have to say it from the heart. So I love y'all, and you may need to rewind and listen to this one again. In the meantime, stay tuned for the next episode, okay? Peace, y'all. Artists, creatives, and designers, it has been an honor and a pleasure to spend this time with you. I'm grateful for your encouragement, love, respect, and support. Follow this podcast and share this episode with another creative who needs to hear it. Your positive ratings and reviews are highly appreciated. Screen capture this episode, post it, and tag me on Instagram at Dream Aloud Art so I can show the love in return. For more information on having an artist consultation with me or for being on the YouTube show for artist interviews, check the description on this episode or go to respecttheartist.com. That's RESPECTHEARTISTS.com. Much love to y'all. And remember, RTA stands for Respect the Artists. I'll catch y'all in the next episode. Peace, peace from here to the Far East.